It was the IE team when we were being stealth. Before we were ready to talk about this whole RSS thing, it was the IE team.
And it's Thursday night.
It's Thursday night. Not that we've lost track of time or anything.
It's the night before Gnomedex.
All right, so it's Thursday night.
Yeah.
And you guys just got back?
Morning. Yeah, we just came back from a rehearsal at Gnomedex.
All right, and you got to run out of here. So
I got to run out of here.
But you had a quick story. Who are you, first of all? You've
My
been
name's
on
Tony Chor. I'm group program man. No, that's me. I'm Eric Stratton. I'm Rush chairman. Damn glad to meet you. Okay, my name's Dean Hakamovich.
Yep.
Well, you and I go back too far at this point. I'm Dean Hakamovich. I'm the general manager of the Longhorn Browsing and RSS team, and I sponsor this message.
Wait. No. Longhorn and Browsing.
Longhorn Browsing and RSS. I'm sorry. I know Robert's giving me the cue. Longhorn, Browsing, and RSS. We were stealth about this. We were calling ourselves the IE team for a very long time. You don't go through and change your name, right, until you have something to show. We got something to show. We're excited about it. We're going to show it on Friday. Well, when I say we, I'm going to show it tomorrow, Friday. Hummer's going to be there.
Yep. The whole team is going to be there.
Now, you were right before I turned on the camera. You were telling me this story.
So just it's just been this blur. There's been this amazingly, accelerated ramp. There are these people who have just been working unbelievably hard. They've been moving mountains.
Yeah.
And
I heard it's like 2.5 weeks of 3-hour nights, or something like that.
A lot of all-nighters. All-nighters. Yeah.
4 hours of sleep, luxury. It's a luxury. So basically, these guys were just pounding hours. It was amazing. They had something working late on Wednesday. They showed it to me on Thursday. Friday, I grabbed Vice President of the Client Core Division, Joe Peterson.
Now, what week was this?
No comment.
Okay.
Dragged him into a room and said, "You've got to see this." And he was leaving the Microsoft annual business plan. I grabbed him for 10 minutes out of that. He said, "I can only give you 10 minutes." We had him for 25. He just couldn't stop. Wait, but how did you? We showed it to him. He left. He sent mail to Jim Alchin. Jim made some time for us on Monday morning, and there was this spontaneous, "This is the right thing. We're so glad you guys are doing this. Yeah. Go, go, go."
Why is RSS important? Maybe the team, and then you got to run, right?
Yeah, I got to run at some point. Hey, I think you should go to the team first. I'll comment at the end.
Okay.
Go on.
What? So, who are you?
Hi.
No, talk to me. Yeah.
Okay.
Forget the cameras.
Yeah, forget.
We're just having a little chat on Thursday night.
Right. Name is Amar Gandhi. I'm the group program manager of the RSS team.
Okay.
And I want to also introduce a couple other folks.
Sure.
This is Jane.
Hi, I'm a PM. I'm also working on RSS.
Now, who's hiding behind the corner over here?
That's Tony Chor.
Tony Chor. Hey.
Tony Chor, I'm the program manager of this whole team.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And that's Walter over there. He's setting up the demo machine.
I'm Walter. I'm also a program manager on the team.
Great. So why is RSS important? Why are you guys investing so much energy into putting RSS into Windows?
RSS is many things, right? First and foremost, it allows people to subscribe to each other, right? Like I remember the web 5 years ago, right? It was all like big websites or e-commerce sites and that sort of thing, right? Now, I can actually hear what you have to say on the web, right? Web wasn't like this 5 years ago. So for me, blogs and RSS are kind of they kind of feel like the same thing. And in a way, like RSS kind of started out from blogs, I feel. And so, it's hard for me to separate like the value of RSS and the value of blogs so far. So just the fact that you can tap into each other's thoughts on the web in a very sort of spontaneous way, it's just a fantastic thing. Now, a lot of what we're going to be talking about tomorrow is how RSS kind of moves out of blogs and actually becomes much broader, right? I think podcasting was an example of how RSS kind of snapped out of the blogging universe and actually became about another scenario that wasn't just blogs, right? But the fact that we have this enclosure tag is just this fantastic thing, right? Where now I can subscribe to photo blogs and calendar blogs and contact blogs and music blogs and video blogs, right? So it's just like this idea that people can share ideas on the web, and now it's turning into this thing where you don't just have to use text to communicate. You can actually use photos and like I watch John Udall's screencasts, right?
So I think another way of saying this is you're saying that one day the internet's going to be really big. And one day this internet thing, everybody's going to know about it.
Yeah.
We're all going to use it, and it's great.
For me, I read 1,369 RSS feeds every week or something like that.
I'm waiting for one of your pets to get an RSS feed and just tip it over to 1370. That'd be pretty hot.
Well, Neopets got sold to MTV the other day. You could have a Neopet with an RSS feed telling you, "Hey, I need some food. Will you come and feed me?"
It's not a bad example. One of the things that's been driving what we do and how we do it, candidly, is RSS everywhere. RSS is just too good. It's just too powerful to be in browsers and aggregators and media players, and that's it. That's it. Right? It's got to be in other places. RSS everywhere, every application, every place you can think about it. And that's just on the consumption side. Now, if you actually want to RSS enable, your dog or your cat and have them throw a feed, that'd be great. The question is, what's the best place to go consume that feed? And that's up to you.
And the thing I'm excited about RSS is I can read my feeds wherever I want. IE isn't the only place that you can read feeds, right? There's a NewsGator for Outlook. There's RSS Bandit.
RSS Bandit
are you guys going to be showing that tomorrow?
We're going to be showing. Dare did some awesome work with us. We showed him the APIs and for the Windows RSS platform, and he very quickly and very effectively, just did a couple of tweaks to RSS Bandit, added a menu item. It just shows how easy it is to tap into the platform, and how easy it is to go through and say, wow, I used to have an application that did this, and now it can do so much more in terms of just being in flow with all the different places you can discover RSS feeds. You asked a question before, and I think Amar gave, candidly, I think, a great answer. I want to take a slightly different twist on how we're thinking about RSS and what it means to me. Browse, search, subscribe. This subscribe thing, it's not just a feature. It's an evolution. It's a completely different approach. And you think about the power of subscribe, and it's just amazing. Because when you subscribe, so many good things happen. I don't need to go off and keep hitting the same websites again and again and again. The stuff comes to me. Right?
For me, that's huge, because if you read 20 websites a day,
the time savings. Hang on. I hear you. The time savings are huge. But there's all this other benefit that accrues that I don't think we've all tapped into yet. One thing is, I go through and I tell my computer what's important to me. And as soon as I say what's important to me, the computer can start doing the work. And one of the big principles that we have, I think, in the industry is machines should work, people should think. All right, so why am I doing this work? Why am I going up and hitting refresh? Why am I going up having to remember to go check because I haven't looked in a while? Bring the feed to me. That's one piece of power. Another piece of power is after I've identified what information is important to me, what can the PC do? Today, I think developers are doing amazing things, but they're blowing so much time reinventing stuff. Oh, I'm going to go do this. Better support 0.91 and 0.92 and 1.0 and 2.0 and I got to support Atom as well. And there's quota management because if I'm not careful, I'm going to go fill up the user's hard drive. And watch me peg the network. And now the user can't do anything useful because they just booted me. That's awful. Right? That's just awful. You go through and you establish this platform, and you let the information come down, and then developers can start moving up the stack. And when you move up the stack, you start doing really interesting things. For example, I think about what I'd like in an aggregator or a place where I consume this stuff. There are a lot of feeds, and there are a lot of items. Help me prioritize them. Let me tell you, here are the 6 words that I really care about. Go find the good stuff. And, I don't know, hit highlighting or sorting. What about notification? We were talking to somebody the other day, and she had a great example. She said, look, I subscribe to Craigslist. And in general, just bring the feeds down to my machine. Right? But here's what I care about in an apartment. And if my dream apartment comes up, page me. Who's going to go build that? Now, who's going to have the time to go build that prioritization, find the needle in the haystack app if they're spending all their time reinventing the stuff that really is just the underpinnings? And then, Amar's coming up with the enclosure tags. That's just dead on. Right? Candidly, Dave Weiner, with the enclosure tag, that was brilliant. There's a small set of things that I'm jealous I didn't think of. And the enclosure tag is way up there. And the fact that Dave did this pioneering work around podcasting and all the work that Adam Curry has done as well, that's great. But come on, that's enclosures with files of type MP3. What about all the other file types on my machine? So, we don't talk about podcasting. Where's the, contact casting and calendar or iCal casting and Excel casting and PowerPoint casting? Where's the rest of that? And when you enable that, right, you don't have each developer have to go through and re-implement all those underpinnings. Again, it'll just kill them. It's just such a waste of precious developer resources.
Yeah.
So, I'm excited because the platform is going to unleash RSS in a bunch of ways. I'm psyched that we have what I'll call the industry influentials showing up at Gnomedex. Yeah. It's amazing to get all these people in a room. You've got developers, you've got content publishers, you've got, what I'll just call the business pundit, Steve Rubel, right? What an amazing guy. You got all of them in one room at the same time to go through and say, here's this platform. What do we want to go have happen? Because the developers will build great things, but getting these people in one room to think about and understand the platform, which is first and foremost the extensions that we've worked on for RSS, and also just the baseline experiences. It's great that I'll say the top 3% of the web is using it. I want my mom using it.
Yeah.
Right? I want my sister using it. And it has to be very easy for my brother.
Like feeds?
I just want to be clear. It's got to be really easy for my brother.
Your brother, huh?
Yeah.
Is this like feeds on steroids, or what are you guys tell me what you guys are announcing tomorrow? Because I've heard a little bit. I don't know everything. So.
What are we announcing tomorrow? Well, it's kind of hard to distill it. I think the biggest theme is captured on a T-shirt. I think if you got to get Ummer's T-shirt because Ummer's T-shirt is the best summary mail of this entire experience.
Excellent.
Yeah. Right? The summary is we're betting big on RSS.
Yeah.
We're betting big on RSS because we believe in RSS and we think there's a lot of upside for everybody, for developers, for end users, for the content publishers. Three big things that we're announcing, that we're talking about. First, it's building the baseline set of experiences throughout RSS so that end users can tap into the power. Right? Second thing is the RSS platform. So Longhorn delivers an RSS platform, and we think that's going to make it very easy for developers to RSS enable everything. Everything, everywhere, all the time. And again, it goes back to what I said before. RSS is too powerful, it's too good to be in just browsers and aggregators. The third thing we're going to talk about is a set of extensions to RSS. There are some scenarios that are really powerful that RSS can't quite do today. And these extensions essentially allow content publishers to define a list. Because feeds and lists sound the same, but you really want them to behave differently. Yeah. So you have sets of extensions that allow publishers to easily publish a list and allow developers to write applications that consume lists.
Yeah.
And additionally, it's even going to allow content publishers to tag their lists and mark off the interesting data in the lists. And that's going to allow the developers to create very rich experiences for manipulating the data, for sorting and filtering and pivoting the data. And when the publishers do their part, and there's upside for them because they've got the feed already.
Yeah.
And the developers do their part, and there's upside for them because they're writing code already. The end users are going to have a great time. They're just going to have a great time.
Now, on the extensions you guys are making, I can imagine if I was watching this video on the outside going,
Yeah.
oh, here Microsoft goes again, taking over a format. Right? What are we doing? Are we taking over the format? What?
I want to repeat the question just so you have this on tape. So the question was, are we taking over the format? I don't even know what that means.
Okay.
I don't know how anybody or any organization could take over RSS. I don't even know how they could try to do it. Dave Weiner did just amazing work making something that actually lives up to its name.
Yeah.
Right? That's so hard to do in this industry. He did this amazing work, and he made that specification available under a Creative Commons license.
Yep.
And the act of doing that allowed so many people to build and extend and do great things with it. And all we're doing is we're extending it, candidly, the way Dave wants it to be extended. But we had these ideas. We got together with Dave. He came out and visited us. We walked him through it because it's Dave. There's always lively conversation.
Oh yeah.
Right.
That's why I love Dave.
It was opera. It was opera.
Yeah.
But at the end, he understood where we were coming from, what we were trying to do, and I think that he's pretty supportive of it.
Yeah.
He's going to go off and do other extensions. He has some very strong and well-founded opinions around hierarchical lists.
Yeah.
I'm a fan
He's
of
announcing stuff too tomorrow, so
Yeah,
the blogosphere will be abuzz with his announcements as well.
And he's big on that, and I respect that. I used to work on an application that had a very strong notion of hierarchical lists, so I'm all for that. We're doing something a little bit different. We're trying to enable some other scenarios, and they're very complementary.
Right.
The thing that I love about the way Dave set up RSS is that it's very complementary. But you talk about taking it over. And I don't know who can do it. I don't know how they could do it.
Yeah.
And that's
Well,
the real power here.
Tell me how developers will be able to use the extensions. Is there any weird licensing or anything like that?
Creative Commons.
So,
Creative
wait.
Commons, share alike with attribution. Go to
Explain
Lessig.
it.
Go to
You
Larry
guys-
Lessig's
wait,
blog.
Wait. You guys are putting a format into the Creative Commons? Is that
We are taking the specification.
okay?
And you need to we have a video from Larry. It's very important to use the right words with lawyers.
Yep.
We have a specification for a set of extensions, and we're making that specification freely available under the Creative Commons license, specifically the Creative Commons share alike with attribution license. It's exactly what Dave did. It's just what Dave did.
Very cool.
And we're doing that because Dave did it the right way. He's a leader. He's doing the right things. We want these extensions to be used widely and broadly. So an example of this is, you're a Mac developer. You're NetNewsWire, right? And you see that all these sites are starting to tag stuff up. Okay. Write some code. Parse the extensions. Have at it. You're a Linux developer. You want to write something that publishes feeds, and you want to tag them up with these extensions. Have at it. Right? Because value is going to happen when the publishers use these tags, when developers use these tags.
Yeah. Anybody else want to get in? Come on in.
Have you filmed these shoes yet?
What's that?
Have you
See,
seen
you
the
can have the exclusive.
The
The exclusive news is
This is-
we have.
RSS shoes.
Okay, why are these RSS shoes?
They're orange.
They're orange.
They're white and orange shoes.
That's right.
So when we say that the Longhorn RSS platform enables RSS everywhere, we mean everywhere. We mean photo libraries. We mean screensavers. We mean productivity applications. We mean anywhere a developer wants to put an RSS feed, including, but not limited to, shoes. We have an example here of some RSS shoes that use the Windows Longhorn platform.
Yeah. I don't even know where to go with that one. When I was in Times Square, Nike had a billboard where you could call up with your cell phone and change your shoe. So you could easily have an RSS feed on the billboard that you could subscribe to and watch all the changes that people are making.
Absolutely. And maybe one day the shoes will throw off an RSS feed with my GPS location. Right? Could be possible. Now, just to be clear, we respect privacy. We understand that there are privacy issues on the internet. It's very important to understand. Okay,
there is actually a team over in Cambridge, England, building a SenseCam, which actually you wear, and as you wear it, it takes pictures and records things, and it could have an RSS feed.
Privacy issues are amazing.
This is a research project.
So this is
not a product yet.
Right. So there are research projects, and then there are shipping products.
Yeah.
And the great thing about this hallway is that we like shipping products, and that's what we're working on. It's actually a fine segue when you talk about the privacy issues. The stuff that we have in mind, right? Every day when we come in, working on RSS, the same, right? First and foremost, trust. I don't want my machine to get taken over. I don't want to get spoofed. I don't want keep me in control. I want to be able to trust my computer. That's still at the top. Then there's a great developer experience. We want to make it easy for developers to do great things. There's a great user experience, right? Then there's a long list of things. At some point, you and I need to do the talk that I do for visiting governmental groups, right? That goes through and say here's the long list: useful, usable, desirable, feasible, worldwide, accessible. There are all these attributes that go into making something Windows class. And these guys have got a great, big, long list. And fortunately, Emmer's got a bunch of program managers working for him, so he's fanned that list out to a bunch of people, so no one's crying yet. But there are a bunch of attributes that go into making something really be worldwide in quality. And as a member of the Longhorn team, the RSS guys are doing a great job of that, I think. At least from the code I've run.
Very cool. So where should we go now? Now
I'm going to go take my wife out.
You got to go.
Go to dinner.
Let's have a little chat with the rest. Bye, Dean. Thanks.
See ya.
Thanks.
Actually, if you want to give me a call when you're done here, because if I'm done with dinner, we can hook up.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
She introduced
Thanks.
Sean first.
You have my
Yeah.
You have my stuff.
Yeah, somewhere.
Introduce yourself.
Yep. So who are you?
Hi, I'm Sean Lindersay, and I'm a senior program manager and on the well, according to Dave, I'm on Team RSS.
Team
So-
RSS. Yeah.
Yeah. So-
Now you were the one who called me and said, "Hey, we're thinking of doing this new extension."
Exactly. Because we wanted to talk to Dave, right? And we
Yeah.
said, if anybody knows this industry, anybody knows what the right things are to do here, it's him. So if we talk to him and he says, you guys are all out of your minds, then okay, well, that's a pretty good idea that we're probably out of our minds. But if we talk to him and he says, hey, you guys are doing some good stuff here, then that's a good sense we're doing some good stuff. So we invited him out here, and he came out here, and it was like Dean was saying, it was a great conversation. I'm not sure about the opera thing, but it's a great conversation.
Now you're working with some other people as well, right? Not just Dave.
Yeah, we've talked to a number of people. We talked to Nick Bradbury at Feed Demon and
Now Newsgator. Yeah.
No, it is.
New Skater. Exactly. And by extension, we've been talking to Greg as well there.
Yeah.
And and Jeff Barr at Amazon, who everything knows through syndicate.com. So he's very heavily involved in RSS stuff, and they've been doing some great stuff over at Amazon.com with their web services. And I think we'll get to show you some of that.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff that we've been able to do with Jeff. But before we get into that, should we meet the rest of the team here?
Yeah. Well, we already did before you came in.
You're just late.
Yeah.
Can we take a 5-minute break?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I just want to get a Coke or something.
Oh, okay,
I'm
sure.
like just starving.
All right, hold on.
I'll get stuff for you guys need.
I'm gonna let an overhead.
All right, we're back online. Everybody has their drinks now,
Yeah.
All right. Sorry.
I'm gonna make sure you don't do anything untoward on
Hey,
the video, Robert.
it's late night, and this is going up unedited.
So what we did is we did a tech check over at Gnomedex
Okay.
and in Seattle, and then we basically got all the machines back here so we could show you the demos.
Yep.
And then tomorrow morning we're gonna go back over there.
Oh, hopefully they don't get lost.
Yeah. So
Still let Dean touch them.
yeah. So can you get this on tape?
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool.
Oh yeah.
So let me just show you what we're going to show to all
Now-
the attendees at Gnomedex tomorrow.
Now this is Longhorn.
This is Longhorn, baby. Yeah.
Am I allowed to show video of Longhorn?
I think as long as you show it after Gnomedex,
10:30
right?
tomorrow
Until
morning.
10:30, because
Yeah.
actually Longhorn isn't the only thing that I'm showing here. Actually, I'm going to show something to the Gnomedex attendees
Okay.
that nobody else has seen before.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. You're the
IE7
first.
on Longhorn.
IE7 on Longhorn.
IE7 on Longhorn.
So that's what we're seeing right
yeah,
now.
yeah.
Excellent.
So,
let's see it.
All right. So this is what i7 looks like. I should put my usual, disclaimer. This is, early bits, and the significant thing about this bit is about this build that I'm showing is tomorrow we're going to introduce the RSS platform, right? And what we've done with this build of IE is we've actually hooked up IE to the RSS platform. So I'm actually going to show you some interesting scenarios how they actually play together. Okay. So let's go to site. What's your favorite site?
Steve Rubel's site, maybe like micropersuasion.com.
Micro. I can spell. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
And there's Steve.
Yeah. So here's the cool thing. When IE is on a page that has an RSS feed,
Yep.
this button lights up.
Very cool.
Yeah. So now the user doesn't have to hunt around the page and sort of say, "Oh, I wonder if there's an RSS feed," and or worry about things like knowing about the formats or anything. It's just a standard piece of the IE Chrome,
Yep.
and it lights up when there's an RSS feed. Right?
Okay.
So
Now, what happens if there's like an Atom feed, an RSS feed, an RSS2 feed, an RSS?
we support them all.
Okay. Do you see multiple versions there?
No. We basically, pick up the first one that is available.
Okay.
And, we're going to put up a publishing guide before PDC. And the whole point is, how do you make sure that the user has the simplest experience around this, right? I think the users actually get confused when they see all these various things, and they kind of just sort of lose the point. And the whole point is that this is a site, and it allows you to subscribe to it, right?
Yeah.
That's the main point, and that's really what the user really wants to go do, right? So we basically hide a lot of that complexity and basically just show you one button.
How is that button working? In other words, does the site and does Steve Rebell? Well, Steve Rebell didn't add anything to his site.
Right.
For that
So what we
button.
do is we basically scan the HTML and find the link rel tag, and if there's a link rel tag available, then we basically make that button glow orange.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. So when I click on it, right, this is what we call the feed preview.
Yep.
Right? It's a simple experience, and the reason for showing users this is it lets them know, if I subscribe to this site, what am I really subscribing to? It gives them a preview of what this site has to offer via syndication. Okay. So this has a couple of cool features I want to show you. We have built in a word wheel. So if you want to know, is he talking something about Scoble? He's not talking about you.
No.
Is he talking something about Microsoft? Yeah, he's talking about Microsoft recruiting paid bloggers. Okay. Hey, right?
Can't have my job.
No. Here's why this is cool, right? Notice how long this page is, right? It's goes it's like several pages worth, right?
Yep.
So if I'm looking for something and I know it's on his site,
Yep.
right? I can actually quickly look at this, right? Now the best thing is if I really like this feed, then I can go subscribe to it. Okay? So for that, we have this plus button. Okay? And when I click the plus button, this dialog shows up. So I say, this is Steve's site, and I can, go ahead and say, yeah, sure, add it.
Got it.
Okay? So now if you're on an HTML page and you hit the plus button, it would add that site to your list of favorites.
Okay.
But if you're on a feed, and you hit the plus button, we just add, basically use the same metaphor to let the user subscribe to that site.
Yep.
Okay. So this is the experience in IE. Okay. So now let me talk about what's actually going on with the platform. We've had this problem in the industry, right? Which is, a user basically might want to subscribe to something in IE, but then they have an aggregator or they have another application, right? And how do you make sure that that feed information somehow travels, between applications? Because at the end of the day, feeds are really user data, right? This is the user's list of subscriptions. It's not about these are IE's feeds or these are feed daemon feeds or NewsGator feeds or whatever, right? These are user feeds. So what we do is every time the user clicks this plus button,
Yep.
IE goes and populates the common feed list. And now any application can query the feed list and pick up what the user has subscribed to. So this is user data. It's sitting on the PC, and there's a standard Windows API, and any application can go and query this.
Right. Now, when I subscribe to something,
Yeah.
how often does it then pull down the feed from that site?
So as you know, RSS has defines itself how frequently to go ping the site, right? So the platform goes and obeys the parameters of the site, and
I thought that was a setting in the news aggregator. Like NewsGator lets me set it to ping every hour or every.
Yeah, so the user can so the website can declare what the right frequency is, and they have the skip hours and sort of saying hey, within these hours don't ping me. So the platform will respect those settings, and then if the user wants to override them, then we let them control that as well.
Got it.
Okay. All right. So to show you this idea of the common feed list, I want to show you RSS Bandit.
Okay.
Okay. So this is Dare, right?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody knows Dare.
He's been on Channel 9 too.
Oh, excellent, excellent. So this is his app, right? And when we talked to him about the common feed list, he was excited.
Yeah.
And so we said, hey, can you build us a version of RSS Bandit for Gnomedex? So what he did is this is a private edition, limited edition, Gnomedex version of RSS Bandit, right? And what he did is he did the simplest possible thing he could to basically show integration between RSS Bandit and the common feed list. So what he did is he created this little menu item.
Yeah.
Just says Gnomedex 2005, right?
Yeah.
And underneath it says, just load the common feed list. So before I do that, let me show you that right now RSS Bandit doesn't have any feeds. Okay. So I go and click that, and Steve's site that I had subscribed to shows up over here. Oh, there's a feed error. Okay, this is a bug in RSS Bandit. I think. I don't know. But anyway, the main point I was trying to make here is, this is user data.
Yeah.
Any application can synchronize with the common feed list, right? So this is pretty awesome, right? Because this is user data, and now this allows any application that wants to sort of tap into RSS, just kind of call the API, and party on.
Yep.
Okay.
I get that error, by the way, if the server's down for half a minute or something, or
Oh, really?
yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes I get that kind of
Yeah.
remote
Yeah.
name cannot be resolved.
Okay.
So, wow.
All right.
So developers can build apps that integrate with IE's list.
Yeah. It's not IE's list. It's the user's list.
It's Windows list.
It's
Windows list.
Yeah, it's Windows list. It's the user's list that sits on Windows.
This is cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so let me show you now. So we talked about the common feed list, right?
Yep.
Then Dean talked about the power of the enclosure tag, right? And the popular phenomenon that's enabled by enclosure tags is podcasting, obviously, right?
Yeah.
And we think podcasting is great, but we think that the power enclosure tag actually is actually applies across not just music, which is what we call podcasting, but across all different sort of data types. So it applies to documents. It applies to photos. It applies to feeds of calendar events. It applies to list of contacts. It applies to like any type of data you can imagine. We think enclosure tags should actually apply to all of them. And the whole point is now the user can subscribe to not just blogs and news. They can subscribe to interesting feeds of interesting data. Right. So I want to show you a couple of examples. So here's Outlook 2003. This is an application I use, and everybody at Microsoft pretty much lives by this app. So this is my this is data that we have for tomorrow's Gnomedex, because if you looked at my real calendar,
It'll be a lot more full.
It'll be exactly.
You'll
You'll
try to
see.
schedule you for meetings before.
Yeah. Exactly. So the thing is, for people that don't know, Outlook 2003 actually has this great feature where you can have multiple calendars and you can actually look at them side by side, right? So we were thinking about this. We were kind of brainstorming this on the team. We were like, wouldn't it be cool if all these sites that have events, right? They could actually publish their calendar in RSS, right? And the nice thing is, now every time the calendar events change, anything that new items get added, because it's a subscription model, all the data kind of gets pulled, to the user's PC. So what we did is, so actually, if you go to the Gnomedex site.
Yep.
So, actually, I'm going to go gnomedex.com. So Chris Perlo actually has, his calendar, as a web page, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I wanted to put this into my calendar, I have to, basically, copy paste, right? And if there's a change here, then, I'm in trouble, right? So now, what Chris should have done, right, is actually created a feed for this,
Yep.
so I can subscribe to it. Chris didn't, so we actually went ahead and created a feed on his behalf. Right,
Okay.
exactly. So let me show you what that looks like. So this is the same page, but we actually associated an RSS feed with it. Okay.
Very cool.
And here's what the feed looks like. So for everything that's happening at Gnomedex, we have a RSS item. Okay. And we have an enclosure. It's a .ics file, right? So there's a RFC called iCalendar, and all the calendaring applications understand how to crack ICS files. So what we've done is, for each thing that's going on at Gnomedex, we have an entry and ICS file.
Yep.
Okay. Now, what a user does, right, is basically they'll say, oh, I'm looking at the schedule, that's great. Oh, is there a feed available for it? Of course there is. Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and subscribe to it.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to subscribe to the Gnomedex 5.0 schedule. Bam, that's it, right? And now what happens is the platform kicked in,
Okay.
and it downloaded the feed,
Okay.
and stored it on my machine.
Okay.
And it said, oh, okay, this feed actually has some enclosures. It goes ahead and downloads the enclosures to my machine as well. Okay.
Got it.
So now the thing is, okay, fine. I have on my machine all the ICS files sitting there, and then I have Outlook that actually knows how to understand ICS files, but there's sort of this gap in the middle, right? So what we did is we wrote like a program in C#, like 300 lines or so. And what it does is, on one hand, it talks to the RSS APIs, right? And on the other hand, it basically uses the Outlook, the publicly documented object model, right? Basically, create a calendar, create an appointment, put this appointment in this calendar. It kind of does all that kind of stuff, right? And basically, kind of does this glue between the RSS APIs and the calendar APIs, right? So that program I've actually, had it running in the background, okay? So now let me go back to the calendar. And notice that this Gnomedex calendar showed up. This wasn't there before.
No.
Right? And if I click on it, I can actually see, my calendar versus against the Gnomedex calendar side by side. Right?
That's really cool.
So the cool thing here is Outlook already does this. Right? All we did is, just wrote a little bit of glue code so that we populated Outlook calendars with the data that we got from a feed. Now, I should be careful and point out I have good friends in Outlook. I try to convince them and talk to them about these scenarios all the time. But I want to make sure that I'm not speaking on behalf of the Outlook team. I'm basically saying, hey, the RSS platform is cool. It can enable all of these things, right? And then the Outlook team you should probably do a channel line video with them when they're ready, and then they can tell you about what they think of the RSS platform.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is all about calendar. So there are 2 points here, right? One is I showed you RSS in a browser,
Yep.
and it was all about reading news and reading blogs, right? Then I showed you RSS in a calendar, and pretty compelling scenario, right? Completely different scenario, right? It's not about news or blogs. It's about subscribing to calendars. Again, the whole thing is enabled by the fact that, one, we're subscribing to things, right? This is Dean's point, that we're actually, this is the next evolution in the web, right? Before it was browse, then it was browse plus search, and now we're moving to a world where it's going to be browse plus search plus subscribe.
Right.
And so now we can subscribe to things and then have interesting things happen here.
Right. When I subscribe, let's say, to Steve Rubel's blog,
Yeah.
I imagine a world where it would just eventually fill up my hard drive, right?
Yeah.
How many items do you keep around? Do you auto-archive them, or do you get rid of them?
That's a good question. We talk about this question all the time, right? Which is, quota management is a pretty interesting thing, actually, right? Because people if you just keep downloading stuff and keep it forever, then it fills up the user hard drive. And even if you have an 80 gigabyte hard drive, it just means it'll just fill up 6 months later, right? So our platform, the way we're designing it right now, is we'll basically keep the last 200 or 300 items by default, and the user can say, actually, this feed is so important to me, I want to keep the entire archive, and then we let them keep the entire archive. Otherwise, we'll basically go and just clean it up on their behalf, so that it doesn't grow to a size where they have to actually worry about cleaning up stuff.
That's really great.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to show you one more demo.
Oh, cool.
Actually, 2 more demos.
2 more demos.
2 more demos. Okay. So first demo is so I showed you calendars, right?
Yeah.
Then I want to show you photos.
Photos.
So photo blogs are pretty popular, right? And it's actually, we're going to show this tomorrow as well. So I'm going to actually go to a photo blog.
Okay.
Okay. And this is a friend, Andrew. He went to France, and what he did is he basically took a bunch of photos
Yep.
and basically wrote an online diary, like a blog, right? And basically said, yeah, here are the photos. Here are some descriptions of the cool places I saw. Next time you go there, you might want to see those as well. And so, the experience of looking at a photo blog in a browser is, a web page with pictures.
These guys are goofing off. Oh man, it's tough to work on the IE team, isn't it?
Can I get a cat?
There you go.
Oh, what are these?
Blogger caps.
All right.
Where do you get these?
They came with the pass.
Michael,
We just got the passes from.
Oh, this is from Gnomedex.
Yeah, so here's your Gnomedex pass. This is his Gnomedex pass.
Excellent.
I'm just getting my Gnomedex pass now. Okay.
See, we need a photo of this
Yeah.
for the photo blog.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
So we see the RSS button lit up,
yeah, we see the RSS button lit up, right?
and there's an XML
Yeah.
feed there already.
Yep. So when you look at it, right, this photo blog actually has all the photos as enclosures.
Okay.
And that's our little, a way of representing in our view that that's actually an enclosure.
Right.
Okay. So let me go ahead and subscribe to it. Sorry, that was too fast.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah. So, we're thinking about what are different ways of experiencing photo blogs, right? And there are times when, like, anytime there's photos, you actually pretty much want to see them big, right? So this is actually code that Walter wrote. So you might be aware that in the Whitby Beta 2.
Yeah. Visual Studio.
Visual Studio.
Next version of Visual Studio.
Next version of Visual Studio, codenamed Whitby.
Yep.
They have a pretty good starter kit around creating screensavers, right? RSS screensavers. So what we did is we basically took that, actually not me, Walter.
Yep.
Yep.
You should describe how you built the screensaver.
Sure. So what we did actually, we just took the starter kit, just ran it. It's the wizard that gives you a bunch of code. And actually what it usually does, it just goes with the live feed. It goes, when it starts up, fetches the feed, and then just shows pictures and shows your RSS items, essentially. And we thought, well, this actually does some pretty good stuff, but it doesn't use the common feed list. So we were thinking, like, okay, how much effort is it actually to write against our API? And, with about a couple hundred lines of code, C# code, and we just hooked it up, and I think Armor can show what the result of that is. So you might see some of that looks a little bit like the actual starter kit when you just run it as it comes, and a little bit looks a little bit different.
Okay, let's check it out. So remember, so actually, I want you to remember a couple of things. So the name of the post is Centre Pompidou.
Yep.
Right. This is their goofy, Museum of Modern Art in Paris, right? And there is. Okay, for all the French listeners out there, I love Musée d'Orsay, and I love the Louvre, right? Pompidou Center, didn't care for it so much.
You're gonna start me in an international incident. I've already had one of those Chinese stuff.
Call
later.
PR right now.
Oh, sorry. So anyway, I just want you to remember that, right? Because it's still going to be. I'll show you in a demo, and you'll see why.
Okay.
So then, this is the screensaver that Walter wrote. So check it out, right? Here is Centre Pompidou,
Yeah.
and so what we're doing here is all the photos here are actually coming from the photo blog, and they're downloaded via enclosures.
Very cool.
Okay.
And
Now
that-
this
that's-
caption, right? This caption is coming from the title
Yep.
and the description within RSS. Right. So all the information you see on the screen here is all coming down via RSS. And this is a different way of looking at a photo blog, right? Than looking at it inside a browser or inside an aggregator, right? And so the point that we believe in, right, on the RSS team is enclosures are pretty big. They can enable some pretty compelling scenarios. Shared calendaring, sort of scratching the surface. We think photo blogs kind of scratching the surface. This is going to be big, right? We can imagine people subscribing to all sorts of things, and we have a couple other examples. We have some friends over in the media center team, right? And they were like, yeah, wouldn't it be great if? So they actually have this format that they've actually posted on MSDN. It's called Click to Record.
Yeah.
It's an XML format, and what it does is, the media center actually knows how to crack that format and program its recording based on that format. So, we're thinking, it would be great if, your favorite TV show. What's your favorite TV show?
Law and Order.
Law and Order, right?
Yeah.
So let's say you went to lawandorder.com, right? And you wanted to record all the Law and Orders that were around, right?
Yeah.
So you subscribe to their feed, and the feed has, these attachments, and those attachments have the click to record stuff, right? And if you did this on a media center, then, Media Center says, oh, you have subscribed to the Law and Order feed, right? And it's going to say, okay, that's important, the fact that you subscribe to it, and the fact that there are these click-to-record items there. And it's going to actually base its programming on your preferences, right? So that's pretty cool. So anyway, like every team I go and talk to at Microsoft, right now, like it's always, like the meetings run the same way. Like, the first 5 minutes you say, yes, we're doing RSS, and then we say, yes, we're doing blogs, of course, and news, of course, and then we say, but there's this enclosure thing. And then, the next hour just kind of flies by because just ideas just kind of keep coming about how this subscription model
Yeah.
just can do fantastic things with the applications, right? Okay, ready for the final demo?
Yes.
Okay, so this
This tripods getting heavy. I don't know.
you want to put it on the floor or?
No, let's go.
So
I gotta be
So
alone
far,
with it.
everything we talked about was just like, hey, this is RSS as it exists today, and the enclosure tag exists, RSS exists, and we're just building a platform so that it's available to, so that the scenarios enabled by it are available to many more developers, right? Then we started running into a set of feeds, some of us started using Delicious, right? And and we kind of scratching our heads. We're like, is this a feed? And we kind of decided, it's not a feed. It's actually a list, right? And then we kind of started running into this thing in a lot of other places. Like, when we looked at the wish list, we were like, that's not a feed because it's not a time-based thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, when things drop off a list, right? Of RSS feed, then you're like, oh sure, that was yesterday's news,
Yeah.
so it dropped off, right?
Yeah.
But when I'm looking at somebody's baby shower registry, right? And somebody buys that item, then it drops off the list, right? That's a pretty significant thing that it dropped off the list because it means, oh, okay, if I buy that too, then the person have duplicates, right? So you don't want to do that. So that's kind of the distinction that we make between what a feed is and what a list is. Like if things drop off, it matters. It's not yesterday's news. It actually matters that the thing is no longer on the list, right? Or you can imagine like top 10 lists, right? And these lists kind of change every week, right? And it's kind of important that something is number 1 or something is number 2. And if things drop from number 2 to number 5, that actually matters. But if I kind of look at these lists inside normal clients that know how to deal with news and blogs, they kind of trip up because they don't really have this concept that, oh, this thing has actually moved down. They kind of look at they have some algorithm for noticing that, oh, yeah, I've already seen it, and then they kind of might have duplicates, or so that logic around knowing that something is a list is not as robust. So we thought about what's the simplest way, and actually Sean has been doing much of the standards work around RSS.
Yeah.
So he basically said, Amar, the simplest thing we can do here is add one tag, right? And just say list. And actually he since we're talking about standards, we said, okay, why is it just an attribute? Like there's a channel element, and we said, why don't we just add an element, an attribute saying channel list equals true or something, right? And then they would tell us and that oh, we should be treating this very differently, right? By us I mean the RSS platform. But then we looked at Dave's spec, and he doesn't allow attributes to be added into the channel tag. So we said, okay, what's the next best thing we can do? And so we said, okay, let's just invent a new tag, according to the same extensibility model that Dave has specified. And a lot of other people are extending RSS, using namespace extensions. So we said, okay, let's create a namespaced element, and just invent one thing if we have to, and we'll go from there. So we have one tag. It's called treat as, and you basically put this, how many letters is it? Like 15 letters. Yeah, into a feed, and all of a sudden, the client knows, oh, this feed is special. This is actually a list, and we're going to actually treat it very differently, right? What I'm going to show you is work that's actually been happening between us and Amazon. So we actually went to Jeff Barr, right? And because we know he's understands RSS really well, and Amazon also has a ton of interesting list data. So we worked with him on creating wish lists as RSS lists. Okay. So it supports the extensions that we are going to announce tomorrow. So what you're looking at here is, this is a simple application that we built on top of the platform. On the left are all the lists that you can subscribe to, and on the right is actually the list. Okay. And the cool thing is that here it says, that there are 2 updates. Right. This is the power of RSS. When something changes on Amazon, I'm subscribed to it.
Yep.
Right. And when things get deleted, or things reorder, right? What I'm seeing here is actually the exact state that's actually sitting on the Amazon website, right? But now it's coming to me rather than me having to go and refresh it all the time. Okay. There's another thing that's very interesting about lists, which is people can actually extend RSS. Right? People can put, so we extended RSS by putting this namespace. People are extending RSS at the item level. And so, if you're looking at a song, then, they can put all sorts of interesting song metadata. If you're looking at, books or DVDs, they can put all sorts of interesting books and DVD metadata alongside the normal RSS tags, right? So, when we look at a wish list like this, Amazon has this wonderful infrastructure for web services where they can put all the interesting data there, I want you to focus here, the date added, the price, sales rank, and the average customer review. So the interesting thing is, okay, I have this data, it's in XML, it's already being subscribed to. How does a publisher tell a client application, like this could be the browser, this could be an aggregator, this could be an application like the calendaring application, right? How does it tell that application that these new fields I've added in the RSS item are actually interesting things that the user might want to sort and filter by, right? So that's the second set of extensions we're introducing tomorrow. It basically says, hey, in this feed you will find these tags called price, sales rank, all that kind of stuff, right? But this could be different for every different feed. So this allows the website to program the feed. And when we notice that, so in this application, when it picks up that, these are interesting sorts and filters, it creates this little widget over here, and it lets the user, sort and filter by them. So, if I want to know, what was recently added, okay, this is actually done in the order of recently added. I can say, okay, what's the cheapest thing? What's the most expensive thing? I can find out, what's really popular. I can find out, what has really been reviewed by people well, right? And this level of programmability is something that we haven't seen in RSS before, right? People, so and these are such simple ideas, right? And over time, I think we will think of other ideas, the community will think of other ideas, and we'll work together on making sure that we kind of take RSS in a direction where with simple steps we can actually start enabling new classes of scenarios. Here's another list. So what I showed you is a bluish list. Here's a MSN Music list. Now this is MSN Music doesn't put out this feed yet. So this is something that Jane mocked up, and it basically shows that the experience that a user has for looking at different kinds of lists can really be different, and it can all be programmed by the website, and the user just kind of interacts with it in a very natural way. And the whole point is this is all subscribed data, and you're dealing with it in very rich ways. Mm-hmm. So we're pretty excited about the extensions.
It's really cool stuff.
Yeah, and and we want to make sure that the community understands that if they've already deployed RSS 2.0, this is under the same licensing terms as RSS 2.0.
Now, where are developers going to be able to get information on the extensions?
Great question. So by the time this video goes out, we would have a blog post on the IE blog.
Okay.
Exactly. And we will have pointers to where the information resides on the more information about the extensions. We're also planning a white paper, so people that can haven't seen the video can actually read about it as well.
Right. Well, cool.
Yeah.
Great job, guys. So what part did each of you play in this?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, I wrote the screensaver.
Okay.
And I've been working on the platform, the APIs, designing those, and working on the sync engine or the feed engine that pulls down the enclosures and the feeds themselves and puts them on your hard drive so you can actually use them. That's been my focus for the past couple months.
Very cool.
That's a great question. Sometimes I look back and say, what exactly did I do?
Well, you kept Dave Weiner happy. Hi, Dave.
Robert said that, not me. Actually, I've just been most of the concrete stuff I did was I worked on the formats and figuring out what the right kinds of things are to do and brainstorming a bunch of ideas with a bunch of people about the right ways to do things. Basically, I guess I made it my job to understand as much about the community and really what's going on and the way people think as possible.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that I do because
I'm not going to mention the company, but I was at a conference on Monday, and another company came up to me and wanted to work with us on other formats. So you're the guy to contact?
I am definitely the first person to contact.
Okay.
Yeah. And if there's somebody else they need to talk to, that's great. Because frankly, this is Team RSS for sort of the Windows division, but RSS is all over the company, and there are teams that we know about, like MSN, who have announced a bunch of stuff, and there's teams that are doing a lot of other stuff in RSS. I mean, RSS is everywhere, and we're trying to enable that. So, to the extent I've been a little bit of an evangelist, and a little bit of this, and a little bit of that, and, working with these guys, these guys actually deliver the product, so that's kind of hard to explain, but that's what I do.
Yep.
It's a great program.
So I've been pulling all-nighters with these guys, and I personally work on getting the IE features and the feature team together and making it presentable, and just a lot of moral support as well. Or moral support.
And moral support. Like I said, my job is management overhead. I make sure that management doesn't bug these guys, except when it's time to be bugged. Make sure they have the people and they need, and I bring drinks and pizza and buy dinner and say send rah mail. Mostly just try to stay out of their way.
Yeah.
And we
you've been out on the IE blog though. I've seen.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And we haven't introduced Clint before.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You snuck in.
I snuck in, and
honest.
we have I run the test team for the RSS feeds.
Clint Jorgensen.
There you go, Clint Jorgensen, and I'm test overhead, management overhead, and the team gets to test all this lovely code and design and make sure it's quality for when we ship.
Yeah, and that's a good point. This technology is going to ship on how many languages?
26 languages. However many languages are shipping Longhorn, I think that's currently 26 languages around the world, almost simultaneously.
Yeah.
And obviously, it's got to have the same quality that we expect from any Windows Microsoft product. And Clint really is, his job is to assess and communicate that quality, and make sure that when it's done, it's really done.
Great. Well, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for spending an hour with us and giving us a sneak preview of what you're doing tomorrow.
Thanks for coming here late and staying late for us.
I wouldn't miss this for the world. Thanks.
Thanks, Robert.
And doing the heavy lifting.
Just for the record, everybody, Robert came back from a long trip, tired, didn't go home, and came back to this interview with us.
Should we video Robert?
Yeah. Turn it around.
You can see how Robert looks here.
I'm on the RSS team here. So. Thanks, guys, and thanks for listening to the users. It's going to be a big deal. RSS has completely changed how I get my news and how I relate to people, and I appreciate your work. This is good stuff. So it's going to bring
your work.
It's going to bring a lot more people into the RSS world.
Thanks.
So. Thanks. Cool.